Hi there, this is Hand Stamp by Cheryl with my first attempt at a YouTube video. This series will focus on craft storage and organization, and this video will focus on paper because every card maker and scrapbooker loves paper. I'll be sharing how I store my cardstock, designer series paper, and scraps. First, my 8.5 by 11 cardstock I store in bins that I bought from Office Depot, which were about $10 each. Stampin' Up! Has 4 color families of 10 colors, and then 10 in colors for a total of 50 colors. So this is where I store all of my 50 colors. The in colors, as you see there in the middle, stay for 2 years and then rotate out. So each year 5 colors rotate out and then 5 new colors rotate in. So one of the benefits to these bins is that you can store them horizontally, especially would be helpful if that's what your space allows, but I like to keep them over there on my shelf. So on the front I have them labeled with the list of colors, and I just cut that page out from the catalog. And then inside I have just file folders labeled for each of the colors, and I keep my 8.5 by 11 papers here and half sheets. Everything else smaller I keep somewhere else. So over here on my built-in counter I have a paper storage rack. I actually bought this off Craigslist for about $25, and I love it because they sit right here at the edge of my table. So as you can see here on the left hand side, I have at the top, actually the whole left hand side looks to be retired cardstock that I like to keep at my fingertips so I can try and use up as much as possible, as quickly as possible. And then on the right hand side I have all of my designer's series paper, or called DSP. This is patterned 12 by 12 paper that comes in packs, and I keep the current packs up towards the top, and then on the bottom are my retired packs. And then as you can see down underneath is where I keep my grid paper. And grid paper is just paper that stampers like to use at the bottom of their project so that they can make sure not to get their ink everywhere. As for my scraps, over here in the corner I have a Sterilite cart which is on wheels that I actually found on the side of the road. And when I saw it, I snagged it and wheeled it home because I knew it would be perfect for my craft room. So each drawer has a separate purpose and it has labels, but the top drawer is for my scraps of designer series paper only. So as you look in here, you can see that I have lots of different pattern paper, and a lot of times things get buried in here, but I make a purpose to sometimes get all of this out and try and use it up. And even on Pinterest I have a board called Cards Made Out of Scraps, which is a good way to try and get rid of some of those. And then lastly, how I store my scraps of cardstock. I'm actually using a binder which I've used for the last 2 or 3 months, and it seems to be working well. Inside I have a sheet cover set aside one color. So I've got one sheet cover for red, pink, yellow, green, etc. as you can see here. And I just leave it propped up on my counter, and anytime I need a scrap I go here first, and I try and keep anything smaller than a half sheet of paper in here. And so it's very convenient. I just keep it up there in that hole that you see on my shelf next to the full-size pieces of paper, but it helps me use up my scraps as much as and as quickly as possible. So thanks for checking out my first YouTube video. Feel free to leave a comment and look for future videos. In the meantime, you can find me on Hand Stamp by Cheryl. Thanks.